I forgot to count all the verses of the 3 readings, but among the first, second, and third reading, it's a substantial number of verses and sentences. This feast is supposed to be about the birth of Jesus, but we get one sentence about the actual birth, And even in that sentence, it's really one phrase. He had no relations with her until she bore a son. Tonight, I know it's become, and don't misunderstand me, there's nothing snide about this comment. It's only a descriptive comment. The early Mass on Christmas Eve has become, at least in this country, people's one Mass of Christmas. But every year I spend more and more time studying and meditating on the character of each of these Masses. And there are 4 Masses for Christmas. Tonight is actually the Vigil Mass. So in liturgical terms, it's not even Christmas yet. And as I ponder that, think what we had in the first reading. Isaiah talked about the promise that God made to David. And the psalm sang of that. And then Paul talked about John the Baptist. Now we come to the gospel, and the gospel starts with Abraham. And we have all that genealogy of Jesus. And we come right to the end, we hear he was born. And again, in liturgical terms, or in terms of the Mass, we understand that we're looking at Jesus as one who was promised. We heard we prayed in the first prayer. Again, may we who rejoice in anticipation of Jesus be ready and receive him, come to him confidently, or receive him confidently when he comes. The church, in some sense, in this Mass, is still a little bit in Advent, And we'll pray at in the prayer over the offerings, as we look forward, O Lord, to the coming festivities. And so, what do I gather from that? What occurs to me as we think about the way that the church presents Jesus in this Mass, presents him as the fulfillment of the promise, the one for whom we were waiting, and not even we, really, for whom Israel was waiting. Very much, in some sense, we hear about Jesus in an Old Testament sense, in a Jewish sense. This Mass hasn't really begun to talk about Jesus in what we might call a Christian sense or a Catholic sense. And so tonight, as I think about Jesus in this context, I think of him as the fulfillment. And for Israel, it's a fulfillment of the prophecies, but it's also the fulfillment of their desire. A couple of days ago in the O antiphons, we had O King of the Nations and the desired of them. And so tonight, I'd like to present to you Jesus as the fulfillment of our desire. And think about all the things that you desire. I was speaking with someone today, and he was talking about what he was hoping for his children. And he's close to grandchildren, so he's thinking about them now. It occurred to me that whatever you desire for your children, Jesus is the fulfillment of that. And so if you want a better life for your children, we hear that phrase, and he used it today, show them Jesus. Introduce them to Jesus. Because Jesus will give them the best life they can have. Or think of the other desires we have. You know, we would like to be healthy, you know. Or we get older and body starts breaking down, or memory starts going, or eyesight, whatever it is, you know. And we would like to be healthy. You don't even have to be old if you're young and sick. What is it you want most when you're sick? You want not to be sick, you know. And think about it. In the fulfillment of our desire in heaven, there will be no more illness. But also dig deeper. What about the health of our souls? The health of our spirits? Jesus is the fulfillment of that. And whatever desire you might have or think of, Jesus really ultimately is the fulfillment of all that, because anything that fulfills us in this world is going to pass away, or it will only fulfill us for a time. Picture your children or grandchildren, or you as a child, receiving that toy that you just couldn't wait to get, or that game, or that bike or something, you know. And anywhere from a couple of hours to a couple of months, the toy's on the shelf in the closet where the board game is. The bike is kind of just, there it is laying in the side yard or something. Whatever it is we desire and we receive, think about the best meal you've ever had. A couple hours later, where is it? You know, it's gone. Even the taste is gone. All that's left is a memory. Think of what we desire for our country, for our world, for our church. All of us desire greatly that this whole pandemic business be over. Right? But when this pandemic is over, who's to say there won't be another one come? Or just as the pandemic is over, you might catch the flu, you know, or whatever it is. The true fulfillment of anything we could desire is Jesus Christ, given to us on this night so long ago. And so, just as Israel waited for the promise for the Messiah to come, the promise to be fulfilled, so the truth is that the real Christian is waiting in the same way, with the same intensity, for Jesus to come again and take us home. The place where any desire we would have is fulfilled. Or you might say, some say it's a place of no desire, because there's nothing left to desire. We've been given everything, and we're filled. So tonight, we remember all of those who look forward to Jesus. And it reminds us of that we are still really looking forward. Obviously not in the same way that Israel was, but in a similar kind of experience or dynamic. So what we received is, the church says, is the beginning of our redemption, not the end. So as we celebrate tonight, I just encourage you to think about it. We're celebrating something that happened, yes, and we rejoice at that we've been given him. At the same time, we are looking forward to something that's not here yet. And I invite you to place all your desires before Jesus in these next few days, or tonight, tomorrow, whenever you can. And ask him to fulfill our desire. If we all looked to Jesus to fulfill our desires, truly fulfill them, it seems to me that would bring us the peace that we talk about on Christmas. Because anything we receive now will last for a while, and a while only. And so tonight we celebrate the birth of our Savior, who is the fulfillment of all our desires.